want to take a moment to begin this video and talk about this struggle we're having with this channel. It's really kind of the way that gun channels are interacting with Google and YouTube is affecting us, and it's affecting our ability to be able to produce content. So I want to take a moment and just ask you, support us on Patreon, where a lot of the content we can't put here is going, and it supports this ministry. I believe the biggest mistake that many people make is they don't recognize the reality, not the fictional sense, but the reality, the truth that a third of the angels fell and they were cast to this earth along with the devil, and they are demons. We refer to them as demons, and they are here to kill and devour humanity. And what we see in this thing is that if you open your eyes, you can actually see it around you if you really are looking for it. And sometimes it's very obvious. And I want to take this time and talk about what just happened in Washington, D.C. I went there last week with my family, and what I experienced, it really took me back. And I had to really think about this. And I've been thinking about it. This was a few weeks ago, and I just, for the last couple weeks since I've been home, I keep thinking about it. And I feel like it's worth talking about. Because what I'm getting at is, I'll just share our experience there and talk about what I see in the spiritual war. Was our very first day there. My wife and I decided to take a walk around the same neighborhood we were staying in, and there was a woman screaming, and just cursing, screaming, cursing, and we passed by her. She was across the street. I've seen a lot of this in New York City. It's very common. So it's better just stay on the other side of the street. And as we were walking home a different way, she happened to be there as well. And she crossed behind us and started screaming, "You effing whore, you effing bitch." And then I heard her run up behind us, and I pushed my wife out of the way and stood between us and just yelled, "Stay the F back." And she said, "I already killed you," and put like a fake gun towards my wife's head. And it was like, bang, 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 "I already killed you, you effing whore." And I again said, "Stay the F back," or back the F off, and kind of pushed my wife to keep walking. And then I proceeded to walk, and she just screamed. And I look back on that moment, and I believe that was a demonic thing, but it didn't stop there. It was as if she was targeted, or we were targeted by this demonic thing. Well, the next morning I wake up, there's no coffee there. There's a Starbucks down the road, and my wife's the kind of human that if I don't bring her coffee, it depends on how the day goes. Really, it's going to go really well or really bad. So when there's no coffee, I get up early and I go get coffee. And I went down to Starbucks, and there was a lot of people. It's, kind of the beginning of a walking rush hour. DC is a very walkable city. And there was a guy across the street screaming. And now keep in mind, I'm not alone. There's lots of people around me. I mean, it wasn't super crowded, but it wasn't like I was the only one on the street and then there was this guy. There was at least a dozen of us right around there. As I walked, he started screaming. I couldn't remember what he screamed, but he was screaming something at me. And I turned because I looked over my shoulder, and he was staring right at me, just screaming something, pointing at me, and looking like he was maybe going to walk towards me. So I just kind of turned, I just kept walking. He kept screaming, but he didn't come towards me. But it was like there was this, like, I see you, I identify you, like I'm picking you out of all these people. It's you I'm upset about. So what I'm seeing here, and it happened 2 more times, so don't stick with me. So what I was starting to begin to see here was like there's these demonic forces that are clearly possessing people. And they're raging, they're lashing out, because one thing I'll tell you about the woman is when I told her to back the F off, she had this look in her eyes like, "I'm so sorry, I feel so bad for what I'm doing, but I can't control it, so I'm going to continue to scream and curse at you. It was very peculiar. So I had to work that day, and my family were wanting to go see Ford Theater and a few other things. And so I stayed behind and was working, and then I was going to meet them at a museum downtown. So I started walking. And as I walked, there was a man, it was raining. There was a man dressed in an evening gown with really floppy boots on, screaming in a woman's voice. And I had to pass. And at this point, there was lots of people everywhere. There were people everywhere. It was very crowded. And then he started screaming. They started screaming at me, and just kind of started walking towards me. I'm like, out of all these people, like, seriously. And then later that day, we were at the African American Museum. Very cool place, by the way. And as I left, lots of people around, lots of people leaving. There was a man standing on the sidewalk, and he started screaming, pointing at me, screaming at me, that I didn't effing belong there, that I had no effing right to be in that museum. And at this point I think, well, what is it about me? Like, why is it I'm being targeted? Like, because it was a targeting thing. And then as I got home and I reflected on all this, it almost seemed like there was like a light on me, and they'd see it. You know, they'd be like, this isn't, we don't like what we see here. And I would argue that that's a good thing. It is terrible that all that happened. I kind of felt bad for my wife. I felt bad for my kids having to just ignore it, you know, keep walking kind of thing. Hindsight, I wish I would have been casting things out in the name of Jesus. That's my big regret, which is another reason why I wanted to make this video. I think it's important as those things come up against us that we fight them with the authority in the name of Jesus Christ that we have. And but for me, I was like, you know, because I've spent a lot of time in New York City. This is not unusual to see screaming people. It's unusual to see it directed at me, but it's not unusual to see screaming people. Sometimes I've seen several in one day. My general instinct is just stay on the other side of the street, ignore them. Like, I just screaming at something that had nothing to do with you. But this time it had everything to do with me. It seemed like I was making them, my presence was making them angry. And that's why I think it's so incredibly important to really kind of think about these moments. And, you know, again, hindsight, if and when these moments arise again, I'm going to confront it. I'm going to confront it in the name of Jesus and see how that plays out. You know, hopefully good, hopefully not real bad, but we'll see. So, you know, I just want to share this with you. Peculiar, interesting, open your eyes. It's there. Know it to be so. Otherwise, you just are wondering why people are coming up against you, and none of it makes sense. Because even my son, he was like, what the heck? Like, what is the problem that people are coming up against us? And I was like, well, I kind of think it's this. You know, this is, I think for some reason there's a light on us because we are children of God. And they are children of the devil. And they do not. And just... that's what I think was happening. So there you go, man. Any thoughts or insight on this? Definitely put it below.